Good afternoon, beautiful people. Welcome to Kate's Space. I'm Kate from Pixie Designs. Welcome if you're new, and welcome back if you've been around for a while. Thanks for coming back. I wanted to show you how I made that envelope thingy. Someone actually asked me if I would do a video, so I will. Now I'm going to show you a picture because I don't actually have the real thing anymore. It went with the journal. So I'm showing you a picture of what I'm talking about. Now, I love making envelopes and things out of these beautiful old, very old music score covers. But the problem with them is they're very old and they're damaged and they're a bit brittle. And so I've been trying to come up with ways to make them more robust. Now, my sister had a really good idea, Jo, she actually coffee dyed some tissue paper, and she uses that to strengthen the music paper. Now, that's what I did with that other one. What the benefits of that is, you still see what's on the back coming through. To some extent, depending on what is on the back, so you can see the music through here, and it keeps it nice and light. It's still like the one, that's what I did with the one that I made for the garden journal that I've shown you the picture of, but it still needed quite a lot of reinforcing. So I had this beautiful music cover and it was falling to pieces, and Jo said, oh, try the tissue. And I think what I've used here is actually sewing pattern tissue. It's got that kind of shine on it, but you can see the back, and now that's made it a little bit more robust. But as you can see, these are very tatty, but I can't throw them out because they're so beautiful. And so I will probably make an envelope with this one, I think. A big envelope maybe. It's already got a fold in it here. So yeah, that's really damaged. Now for this one, I was wondering whether we simply just, I know we're going to lose all this beauty, but we simply glue it and fold it in half, and that is going to make it super thick, which is perfect for the sort of folio trifold thing I made for that music cover. This is actually so beautiful. So that's what I think I'm going to do with this one. As you can see, there's a whole lot of brown tape here. I don't know whether to try and remove that or just leave it there. I don't know. I could get myself into trouble trying to get it off. Sometimes if you use your heat gun, you can melt the glue. See, this is not glued down all that well. But what shall we do? Shall we try and save the tape? Get the tape off, because the other thing is, yeah, what do we want on the back? I don't really want the tape. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a wet glue, which will take a little while to dry, but I'll get the best coverage of that and get this hopefully really well glued down. So I'm going to use my PVA and a brush. How is everybody? I hope you're all well. We are well. It's getting cold. I've already told you this, that it's cold. We've just had a couple of 3 days of quite torrential rain. But we really needed it because it was so dry, because although it was cold, yeah, it was still really dry. As I'm recording this, I'm waiting to hear from my brother-in-law, Jo's husband. My sister Jo went into surgery this morning for a double knee replacement, and she said I could tell you if I made a video. So when this goes up, she'll be out of surgery, but obviously, and hopefully having a recovery. But yeah, double knee surgery. They had a cancellation and they said, do you want to have it? And then 2 days later, there she is in there. She's at the private hospital, and which is great, because sometimes the surgeons will take their patients, even though they're public patients, and use the private hospital, and which is great for the patients if you're the one who gets that. But yeah, I'm waiting to hear that she's out and all good, but I think it's gonna, yeah, it'll be a bit of a recovery having a double knee replacement, so it makes my sore knee very minor in comparison. But yeah, so I'm kind of a little bit, you know how it is when you're waiting for someone to come out of theatre. So yeah, looking forward to that text just to say, yep, she's all good, she's out, everything's fine. So yeah, she went in at 11 and it's, I don't know, around 3ish now, I think. So yeah, but it is a really positive thing, because it just means that going forward, Jo will be able to be way more, well, she's pretty active, she loves her gardening and she has horses and things, but she's going to have way less pain, which is going to be so good. So yeah, that's what's happening in my life at the moment. I had my appointment with the specialist, the sort of orthopedic specialist, sort of sports person, joint specialist I guess you'd call her, about my knee, and she gave me some options about what medications I could try, or injectables. So I've had to sort of have a think about that, do some reading. Right, so hopefully I've put a good amount, a good quantity of the PVA glue on here. I always, it's a struggle to get it exactly right. I feel like that's not lying very straight. Okay, so that just might have to be like that. I mean, when you're working with old papers like this, they're not, you know, they're damaged and they're not straight. So what I want is for that to just really be sealed together really well, so that it becomes like one piece of paper. So that's going to be really strong, hopefully. The only thing is, and I mean, this would make a beautiful journal cover, wouldn't it? But it would be super tall. Yeah, the only thing is I am going to be folding it across the grain, and so sometimes that can cause cracking. So like with the other one, I imagine I'm going to need some tape to reinforce things, and obviously I'm going to definitely let that dry. Now the other one I wanted to try was this beautiful one here, and now I'm really in two minds about whether I put tissue on this or whether I actually join it like that as well. How beautiful is this old paper? But yeah, it's just sitting in my hoardy shelves, being hoarded, and actually, you know what, getting damaged, and what's the point in that, really? I'd rather use it. So I don't know whether I want to put the tissue on this one. Maybe I should, so that you can see. It'll be really plain on the inside, but that's okay. And I'm hoping, well, maybe the foxing and the stains will show through this, although this is tea stained. It won't be completely flat or be wrinkled on the inside like the other one was, but I may as well show you sort of how I did it. And then it's just another way of strengthening these old papers if you have them. Or any paper, it doesn't have to be old, just maybe any paper. Oh, I feel terrible covering this up, but it's, like I said, this paper is no good really on its own without something strengthening it. So it's either that or nothing, I suppose, in a way. So yeah, I'm going to coat this with the wet glue as well. And the thing is, you do want a good coating because you don't want any bubbles. You don't want any bits that aren't glued, because you can't go back and do it. So And then once these are dry, I'll come back and show you how I made that little trifold. I mean, it's not that hard. I've got another video showing how I make, because I went to make an envelope out of that. I think I explained it in the video, or I may have edited it out because the flip through was getting too long. But I went to make an envelope with it to put, it was just for all the extra bits that wouldn't fit in the journal, because the journal was getting really, really heavy and fat. And I went to make the envelope, and it just wasn't strong enough. And so that's when my sister sort of said, oh, why don't you try the tissue? She's tried that before and found it worked really well. And it did work well, but I still needed to use washi, or you could use masking tape, because you are using papers that are, you know, hundreds of years old. They've been opened and closed, they've been sitting on pianos, they've been handled, carried around, can you imagine, to maybe performances of the symphony orchestra, or they've just been in teachers' homes and the piano stool got out for pupils when the pupils came, who, oopsie, be careful, Kate, be careful. Yeah, I'm being too rough. So what I'm worried about is the bits that I've done have already dried and this tissue isn't going to stick. So yeah, I find this sort of hard. I'm not going to try and get it perfect. I'm just going to try and sort of put it on like this, a little bit straight though, and get that sort of as smooth as I can from here, and then kind of just try and sort of inch it forward on the glue and get it as, it will be wrinkled. I'm not, there's no way I would get this straight beautifully perfect. Oh, and then I've torn it here. I'm not having the best day. So yeah, be very careful, Kate. So yeah, be careful with the tissue. It tears with the wet glue, which, you know, that makes sense. I should have thought of that. But there we go. We've got that done. And then, of course, I'm going to let that dry. I can also, you know, put another piece in here. And then I can just cut around it so I can patch that up. So that's that piece, and that's hopefully going to strengthen that. And the benefit, I guess, is that, let's hope we can get this off this brown paper. Just lift it off. It's got the benefits of that is the paper isn't as thick as the other one I've done, which I've doubled over. So yeah, so now we need that one to dry, and then we can trim around it. But as you can see, it's got holes and all sorts of things in it, but it isn't strong enough to make a page or an envelope on its own. So there's that one. So those are the two sort of ways of strengthening. You could also just use brown paper or tea-dyed paper. And just double it like this to use it. This one here I would probably use as a page maybe, because you've got a bit of blank space here for writing or doing something on, and in a big journal that would look really beautiful. So I'm probably going to not do anything with that. So I've done the two. I've done this one, not that one. I've done this one with the tissue, which we're going to wait to dry, and I've done this one here with the cover and doubled it up. So that's going to be quite sturdy, I'm hoping. It'll be interesting to see, because, you know, this is all a bit experimental, so we'll learn together. If this one cracks, how badly it cracks. So yeah, let's wait and see. So I'm going to let them dry, and I'll be right back. Obviously that will be very quick for you, but a little bit of time for me, so it might be even tomorrow. But yeah, we've got them started, so that's great. So I'll see you soon. I'm back now. As I suspected, it is actually a couple of days later. I just couldn't focus on Friday with my sister Jo in surgery, and it's now Monday. and she is actually home, which is amazing. She's had a double knee replacement and she has done incredibly well. I'm very impressed. So she's home, so I can relax now, and I'm going to try and get on with this project and see if we can make something. It's always hard making something the second time, but I've linked the video to the envelope I made, and with these things I'm going to try and make a trifold. So what we did, just recapping, is I put the tea stained tissue paper that Jo wrapped some of my Happy Mail in. So she tea stained this, and so I've used that to strengthen this very fragile page. This one is a different cover, and what I've done is the music pieces have been taken out of it, so these bits, and I've just glued the back cover to the front cover, and I'm going to see how we go with that one. And this one here, I'm pretty sure I did this a while ago because this one was falling to pieces. I'm pretty sure this is sewing pattern tissue. Right, so that's a recap. I'm going to trim all this tissue off from around here. How is everybody? I hope you are all well. I'm well. And I'm actually wondering if this would be easier if I put my ruler here and just see if I can tear it. I've been doing quite a lot of not much. I'm just in between. I finished that big giant garden journal, and I just haven't been able to settle on another project. I don't quite know what's wrong, so I thought I'd give this a go, and this is not tearing that well this way. It's probably because it's against the grain, I imagine. So I'll just trim that with the scissors afterwards. Our lovely neighbours have sold their place, and so they will be moving away, which is super sad for us. Really exciting for them. They're not going far, I don't think. They haven't found a place. Originally they were going to move to a different part of the country, but they've changed their mind. They're going to stay in Hawke's Bay, which is great. They're not moving until August. I don't think settlement is until August, so they'll be around for a bit. We had them round for dinner the other night, and it was very nice catching up. And this weekend is a long weekend for New Zealand. We have King's birthday weekend, which obviously used to be Queen's birthday weekend, but now it's King's birthday weekend for obvious reasons. And David's son and his girlfriend are coming to stay with us, his partner. So that will be very nice. Let's catch up with them. They live in Wellington. All right, so now we've got this beautiful piece of old paper that is hopefully strengthened by this tissue. There's a few little sort of holes here and there where I kind of mucked up. Now, I remember with the other one, I was trying to originally make an envelope, and so I think I had it so this was the right way around. These are big, so they make big sort of trifolds. Right, so I'm going to have it so it goes like that, I think. And the other thing I did was I shaped the top. So I'm going to do that first. I'm going to use a template. What you could do is you can sort of fold it in half and then draw what you want. That works. But I'll get my template and see if that is going to work for me. I think this is the one I used, but now it's like I know it's not wide enough. So maybe I did end up just drawing something. That's the thing when you try. I hate trying to do something again. I can't remember how I did it. So yeah, you just draw the shape you want, which I don't really know what my shape is that I want. And then you just cut around it. So that's what I'm going to do. And hope that it doesn't look too terrible. Whatever it looks like, it'll be the same both sides. So there we go. Yeah, no, I don't really love that, but anyway, it's done now. It's a bit too pointy and curvy. I would have liked something a little bit shallower, but that's okay. We can make it work. So this is going to fold here, and this is going to fold here like that. Yeah, I actually think I only want that folding that much. So there we go. So let's just see now how much cracking we've got. So yes, see, this paper is still cracking, and that was the problem that I had with the other one, and I think I ended up using washi tape, which isn't the end of the world at all. So yeah, but those are the problems that you have with old paper. I mean, the tissue here is going to keep it together somewhat, but yeah, I mean, it's old, so that's just the way it is. So yeah, I guess the next thing we need to do is strengthen these cracking parts. So you could do that with some colourful washi tape, some like really basic brown, some masking tape. I used a black and white washi, something like this, and I really liked how that looked, so I'm wondering whether I should do the same thing again, or if you've just got some plain masking tape and you just take your ink to it and grunge that up a bit. It depends what you're looking for, so you could do that and have some grungy tape on there. The other thing you could do is do something colourful. So I've got some really nice wide washies here, which are from Amity Bloom, and you could put those down, but they're quite contrasting to that grungy look. I'm going to use the same as what I did last time, I think. I wasn't going to, but now I've decided I am. And I'm going to put it, and I'm going to use glue as well, because sometimes this washi lifts. So I'm going to just put some glue down here. And then I'm going to put my washi tape down the length of that seam. And I am covering over some of the graphics, which is a shame, but yeah, I mean, you just have to, that's a difficult thing about working with these old papers. You have to make sacrifices of what you're going to be able to see and what you're not going to be able to see. But I'd rather use it and kind of try and make it work than throw it away, or let it get so damaged on my shelf that it's just totally not usable anymore. I'm just going to fold that up there like that. Oh no, I don't want that actually, because it's the top. So I'm going to cut that off. Sorry guys, I'm a little bit scattered today. Alright, so we can now fold that, and hopefully that's going to have a bit more strength to it. And I'm going to do the same here. The great thing about washi is you can sort of see through it somewhat. Trying to get that a little bit straight would be good. So we just have those strengthened on the outside. So when we open it up, we're going to have our pockets. So I'm going to try and turn this digital print into a pocket. It's one I've had sort of sitting around for a little while, and it's just printed on copy paper. So I'm going to score it down here at 8 inches. And that's where I'm going to cut it or tear it, on that score line. And then I'm going to fold it down so that it's got some strength to it. It's not straight, unfortunately. Don't know why. So we've got that, and then I am going to fold these edges over of my pocket so my pocket's got more room in it. So that's that one. Now we've got a tear here, so I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about that. So maybe we should make this pocket go in here. And I'll make it a relatively deep pocket, I think, because it's quite a tall trifold. So that's going to fold over that way. And then what do I want to see at the bottom? Maybe just a little bit of that type, not a lot. So sort of there. Okay. So just tear down here so we've got a little bit of a bit to fold in. Same at the bottom. Then we sort of cut an angle here at this intersection and this one here. Oh, that's going to fold glue down. So I'm going to glue that bit down first. So that will give the top of the pocket a bit of strength. And then that's going to fold in. So I'm just going to do a little angle cut there. And then so that's got to sit in there, and these still need to be able to close. So I think I've done that okay. I might bring this one in just a little bit more. I'd rather it was a bit small, narrower than the gap than wider, because it will hit the sides. So at least you guys can see me stuff up one of my beautiful music papers before you try it. I might ink around this pocket. There we go. So yeah, I think I would have really liked to have used this, but I haven't strengthened it, and it will just crack and rip. I think. So now the question is, am I going to strengthen the inside of here? I'm probably not going to, because I've strengthened it with that tissue and I've strengthened it on the outside with the washi tape. I'm just going to hope that's enough. I'm just going to glue this pocket down. And of course you can just use anything for your pockets. Just like that to make sure that you can slip things into it. Go. And then what about this pocket here? So this is a little patchwork bit of tissue I put over the bit that I tore. And yay, it's underneath the pocket, so it doesn't matter. So that's great news. I can't really find anything that I think will be suitable, so I'm going to use this. I'm going to fold it about there initially. And yeah, probably have it sort of like that. I'm going to fold that down. The only thing I know I'm not going to like about this is you're going to see where that tear is. You're going to see this white. So I'm not sure how I'm going to go about remedying that, because I know I'm not going to like it. So we'll just see what happens. Okay, so I'm folding things very wonky. It's pretty normal for me. So there we go, we're going to have that lovely floral image, which I love. So I'm happy with that. Wow, my folding is just as well. I don't do origami or anything that needs accurate folding. It'd be a disaster. Right, so we're going to just trim this down here. You're probably wondering if this is actually going to look any good. Well, by the time you've put cool things in here and tied it up with some string and such like, you'll be amazed at how good it does look. Believe me, trust me, trust me. I think I know what I'm doing. In my head I know what I'm doing, but sometimes it just doesn't always play out in real life. Okay, so I'm just going to do that same thing with those corners, mitre those, or whatever you call that. And this is going to go here. Now let's just close this and we're going to see the problem. This is my problem. So I'm going to have to put something here. But I guess we can deal with that after. Or do we want to actually get some of this music paper and mend this somehow? Maybe we could just put this here like that. I've only just cut it wide enough. Or this glue paper is almost the same. Maybe I could use this. We're working out how to mend things. we could, actually maybe it would be better if we did it that way. Yes, that is a much more sensible idea. That way. So a bit of patchwork on the old music, and then some art glitter to get under the bits. There. And then I'm going to just add some ink to these edges, because these look kind of new, don't they, now, and a little bit not quite right maybe. Just cut those bits off there. And I'm going to glue this pocket in as well. So this would be quite cool to send some happy mail in. It needs to come over this way a little bit. So there's our little mended bit. I'm just going to put this down here too. I love this, even though, yeah, I mean, it's all very grungy, isn't it? So now I'm going to do my closure here. I'm going to use some green, a piece of this green old, again, I think this is something off an old music piece. This is one of my favourite sort of colours, this really old-fashioned green. And what I'm going to try and do is make my own closure. And I'm probably going to cut out 2 to make it a little bit stronger, because this is just paper, it's not card. Or actually I could just cut one out of that and one out of something else I've got. Right, out of some manila folder. Actually, I will just glue it and then ink it. So I'll glue the nice green onto just the manila folder, and that's just going to give it a bit more strength for our closure. A little bit of colour. And then some ink, and then trying to find the center so we can put a hole in it. Always find that really tricky. It isn't going to be perfect. It's going to be about there. And then I'm going to use my crocodile to make a hole, and I'm going to pop that in there, and that's going to go through there. Now again, I want to strengthen this, so I think I will put one of these behind it as well, if I can get it right. Like even that will even that will make it a little bit stronger. So that's sometimes things just don't flow. Right, let's see if we can get our crocodile in there. Yep, we can. So there's that, and then where's my little circles that I'm going to put on the back. I don't care if that hole's not quite central. It's just to give that some strength. So I'm going to glue that on. Gosh, I hope this is going to look all right when it's finished. I thought I was going to make two, because I thought I was going to make one out of that other big thing, but I'm really not. I'm not going to have time. Right, and then this is going to go here with our eyelet. Oh my gosh. Hope so. Yep. Okay, so it goes up this way. Right, and I am actually going to ink around here because not that you really need to age this piece of paper, it is very old looking. So the other thing I did was I put some washi tape down in these things and some tape up here, up on this side. I guess these are going to get open and closed a lot, so I used a couple of different things. I used some of that at the top here. So I might do that again because I love this tape. Lots of glue. It's on the fold there. Just going to cut it here. And then I am going to use some of that really pretty washi. Why not? Let's put some nice pretty colour inside. I'm going to use this one. And again, I'm going to add glue because I don't want it coming undone. So I'm going to put some washi here. Just to give this pocket that little bit of extra strength. And I'm going to put some washi down the centre bit here too. I'm just dragging my washi over my glue. And then I'm just going to pop it there. Maybe move it a little bit more that way. We probably need to just not have that quite so high. Okay. Then I'm going to grab some string, and I'd quite like to tie something to this. So I've got an old key. I've got a little box here of old keys. Some are huge. Some are older than others. Yeah, I love this. Is probably the one I like the most. And I love these little tags. So I want to make one of these out of some old file folders. I'm just going to make it this shape. I'm going to do it near this edge because it's all wrinkly. So yeah, just cut this out. And I love how this is already all wrinkly and sort of worn, so it will be perfect. And then we just need a little roundy thing like this. So yeah, we need 2 of those. It's almost a little bit too big. Never mind. I'm just going to actually glue them on and then put the holes in. And try and get them right, but because the other thing I would have liked to have done is typed. I like how that's got typing on it. Ooh, but I'm not going to do that today. But yeah, you can pop these in your typewriter, but it's very fiddly. Okay, and then I'm going to punch a hole, and I know that's not, it won't be central. Very unlikely to be central, but it'll be good enough. See if it will go through that. Yep, it did. There we go. It's kind of like tied in a knot around here. I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly the same, but let's go with it. So yeah, it's tied on there, and then it's around the key. Pretty rough and ready. There we go. And if I could think of something to put on here, I would put on, I think what I might do is if I was giving it to someone for a happy mail, I would maybe write their name or something on it, type it onto some tea stain paper, and then put it on here. Or if it was for a journal, you know, put something on there that seemed appropriate. So I'm just going to stick the string through there for this time being. And then I just wound this around a few times. Yeah, that'll do. Just fiddling with the string. So yeah, so you could have your tag hanging on the piece of string, but I actually think I think before I tied it on to here, not onto the actual string, so it was tied independently to that hole. I think I like that better. Oh boy, we got there. So that's pretty much it. I mean, you can do whatever you like. I guess the key is, if you've got some of this really beautiful old music paper, is just the working out how you can strengthen it to make it into something that's actually going to have some longevity, that's going to stand up to being open and closed, and is going to be able to have something in the pockets. So I've just grabbed a few random things. So say this little envelope booklet could fit in there with something behind it, a collaged thing, so maybe a tag or something, and then some things could also fit in here. So these are not obviously finished, but there we go. And so that's what it will look like with things in it. And I guess the great thing is you could actually put something like a tall document or something in here as well. It's got that kind of height to be able to take that. Or the other option would have been to trim it here and here and make it a little bit shorter, and you could have folded it in just that little bit more, made it shorter and narrower. So yeah, you can do anything, but yeah, so this one is the one with the coffee dyed tissue paper inside for strengthening the paper, and then we've used washi tape on the outside for strengthening as well. So yeah, they look really beautiful and they're really useful for sending to people. Let's have a look what the back looks like. Yep, the back looks cool as well. I'm really happy with it. So yeah, there we go. That is today's video. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you again soon in the next video. Bye now.